Another thing I've been thinking about doing, I got that. I've been driving this a lot more lately, especially where I've been working for the shelter. I find myself transporting tools and all sorts of things back and forth up there. And I got to think about it. I've got a couple of old style fog lights, tractor lights, and I got this big bar on the front of it. These are some kind of crash bar, and I was thinking that'd be a cool place to just put some of them old style lights. They'd look good up here. By the way, I joined the Georgia Sheriff's Association. I got to reading up on what they do, and they run homes for kids that need shelter, and I like that idea, so I decided I wanted to be part of that, and I joined up with them. So with that said, I leave it unlocked. I don't usually like to do that, but I did it anyway. Oh, and I remounted my camera. I've got a camera over there on the dash, and it used to sit up here, and it was all the time falling down because the sun would heat the glue up. So I mounted it on the dash there, and I think it'll work good. I wished I had that camera the other day. I was in the parking lot up in Anderson, and of course a lot of people was coming out from a lot of different lanes, you know. So I came up to in line, and there was a guy over there waiting to get out, so I motioned to let him come out. And then when I started to move, this lady behind me came screeching around me, almost hit me, and then nose dived in front of me so that she gained like a car space. She went from her space behind me to my space in front of me. And she did it so quickly and so dangerously that it made my blood rise. And I pulled up beside her and I looked at her, and her mouth was forming words, you know, her lips was all curled up like a wild beast, and I could tell that she was calling me names that she probably learned from her daddy when he was working as a mechanic trying to fix a family car. But she hurled out some nasty words that I couldn't hear, and then she screeched out of there and pulled out in front of traffic and screeched down the road. And you know, it was a challenge right then, because the good Lord says to be forgiving and forgiving, and sometimes in the heat of the moment, not always that easy to be forgiving, especially, you know, I listen to Perry Noble sometimes. He's a kind of outlaw renegade preacher that I like, and sometimes he tells stories about when he gets mad at people up in that area, up in Anderson, because they're such bad drivers, and you know how he has difficult interchanges where he's trying not to let his temper get away from him, and he seems like a kind of guy. Well, I know based on what he says that he's got a temper, and he has to work at keeping his Jesus-like loving attitude when it comes to people who drive bad. And I was thinking about Terry Noble when I pulled up beside that lady, and her lips was all curled up, and she was hurling out, it was probably insults and such, you know. And I thought, yeah, I've thought critical things about him when I've heard him talk about old people, you know, and how bad they drive. But suddenly I was feeling the same way about this lady, and I had to pray to the good Lord that he would run the demons off. It was trying to get inside of my head and make me have unkind thoughts towards somebody I didn't even know, you know. So anyway, where was I going with that? I don't know. Anyway, we have a car show lined up. There is a poster, and I am going to have it available to put up as soon as, which one of these buttons runs my air conditioning? I think it might be that one. As soon as we finalize the fine print on the poster, I'll be able to post that. I'm actually thinking about starting a Facebook site, kind of like I did down in up in Maine. I had a Facebook site for kind of a hot rod site, and I'm thinking about starting a Facebook site for like a hot rod site down here, and I'm thinking about becoming a car club. I got to thinking about, you know, back in the old days we used to have car clubs, and like if you was a young guy and you was building a car and you didn't know what you was doing, you didn't have any tools, there would be a bunch of other guys in the car club who would kind of lend you a hand. You know, they kind of help you out. They give you some advice. They might do some welding for you. Might help you find parts. And that was really neat, you know. And I was just wishing that we had something like that the other day. And I thought, you could just do that. You could be a car club. You could just proclaim yourself a car club and be a car club. And if anybody else wanted to join along, they could. And if they didn't want to, they wouldn't have to. But what if you just became a car club, I said to myself. That's kind of like how I got involved on YouTube. You know, I just got on YouTube so I could talk to my boy, show him what I was doing up here down. It was back when I was in Maine, Houston, South Carolina. But I thought, well, you do the same with a car club. And then if I start a car club, and any of y'all want to be in it, all you got to do is say, okay, I'm in the car club, because we ain't going to have no rules, and we ain't going to have no election of candidates, or you ain't gonna have no candidates, we ain't gonna have no president. It's just gonna be a car club. You want to be part of it. And I was thinking about, well, what would be the name of the car club, and I decided that I'd like it for it to be, because I spent more than half my life on the road as a over-the-road truck, well, not always over the road, but as a truck driver. And I'm a disciple of Jesus, so Road Disciples sounds like a really good name for a car club. So I'm hereby proclaiming that I am now the Road Disciples Car Club. And any of y'all wants to be members, just say so. Just let me know. Say, hey, I'm a member, and I'll wave at you, and you'll be a member. And it won't be no dues, and there won't be no paperwork. And you know, as long as y'all don't start heaving out evil thoughts at each other and saying bad things about other people, you know, it'll all be fine. I guess the only way I would boot anybody out of the car club would be if they started bad mouthing each other. You know, I wouldn't put up with that. But other than that, you know, we're good. So I ain't created that yet, but I'm going to. At some point when I'm not doing something else, I'm gonna go in there and get up on the book of base, and I'm gonna make a page, and it's going to be the Road Disciples Car Club. If y'all want to be in it, you can. If you don't want to be in it, you don't have to. It don't hurt my feelings neither way. So let me go hook this trailer up. I'll take y'all with me, because sometimes I do my best chitter chatter when we're walking around doing other things. Let's see how close did I get. Oh, I'm right on top of it. Looky there. Well, let's get off of it. I didn't bang the bumper that time, so that's good. Let's put y'all right here. You can watch me. I'm going to pull forward and to the right about 4 inches. 3.5, 4 inches. Yep. Ignore that. I'll move y'all over here, because when I kick this trailer, it's liable to make y'all fall off if I don't. What I do when I do this, see, that ball is sitting partially, that tongue is sitting partially on that ball. So what I do is I roll this leg up till I got an inch or two underneath it, and then I just kick that. Yes. Yeah. Wasn't that spiffy? Even Superman wishes he had my kind of powers. Yes, indeed. Yeah. I won't bother hooking up the lights for this, but I will before we get out on the road. So I'm just gonna pull up over there and back this down into the garage. So what have we talked about so far? We talked about Dad's lawnmower, the volunteer place I work for. By the way, I went out and bought a new ladder. It's supposed to be delivered tomorrow. I couldn't believe I could buy a ladder and have it delivered for free. I mean, a ladder is what's locked up back there? back and take a look. It don't act like it wants to move, but it might be just sitting in the pine straw. I'm going to put the 4-inch wheel drive on. See if that does the trick. Well, I know it's a stump under my front tire. Keep that on anymore. So I cut down a tree or two in here a while back so I get in and out of here without having to do that little fancy driving dance I used to have to do to get around all the trees. I forgot to hook on the ball, I bet you. Push that hook. I made a statement the other day on here about being dyslexic and having ADD, as adult deficiency deodorant. And one of my followers, Anthony, he talks to me a lot. I talk to him. A lot of my followers look at my stuff and comment every morning. He said, "Are you really that?" And I said, "I really am that." I'm surprised he didn't already figure that out, because anybody that's seen me operate knows that something's wrong with me. You know, I ain't like a normal person or anything. But he didn't realize that I was badly messed up like I am. You know, he thought I was just a normal person. He thought I did bad things because I was just a bad person. He didn't realize I did bad things because my brain's wired wrong, you know. But it is what it is. We get by. Sometimes I think I'm better off. I wouldn't call it a disability, although it is adult deficit, disability, or whatever it is. I don't think of it as a disability. I think of it as an advantage, because I can do 6 things at once, while the rest of you just sit around and figure out how to do one thing at a time. See, so I mean, to me, that's not a disability. That's an advantage. I have the advantage of being able to do many things all at once without even giving a thought. And sometimes that leads to me doing things that are questionable, but you know, I still get done. I still get things done. So that's what I'm gonna say about that right there. And I don't know if that lawnmower's got battery enough to jump up on that trailer or not, but I'll go ahead and put my windows down, and we'll. I got some other things I might want to do with this big trailer. Like I've got a boat top, a canvas boat top for that trailer with the arms and everything. And I changed the top on my pontoon boat the other day, and I realized that as heavy as that stuff is, if you stood that up somewhere, it'd be big enough to sit a lawnmower in, keep it out of the weather. That boat had a boat top on the back and another one on the front, so that the whole thing would be covered up like a covered wagon. And I got to thinking, if I went up to the shed up there and brought that other one home, set it out here in the woods somewhere, set it up like it would be on a boat, that'd be a good place to store something like, you know, maybe that rat rod trailer or something like that. I wanted to get out of the weather and didn't want it taking up space over here. I could put it in that. So while I got this trailer out, I might go up there and grab that thing too. So anyway, let's go see. Let's go see if that lawnmower is charged enough to come down onto here. By the way, here's something else I did. This is real shade tree wiring and all, but this golf cart has a solar panel on top of it to keep the batteries charged, but it doesn't really keep them charged as much as it needs to be charged. And I've got a charger here, but you can overcharge those batteries pretty quick, and I priced some batteries, and they're going to run me about $700 or $800, so I ain't really got that kind of money to toss around. So what I did was I hung this timer on the wall, and I plugged this into it, and I got that timer so that it kicks on, it charges for like an hour. So every day that timer will charge an hour on those batteries, which I think should be enough to keep it from overcharging, and at the same time keep it kind of charged up. And I can do that until I come up with a better plan, until I come up with money to buy new batteries. So here we are in here, and first thing I'm gonna need to do is let my gate down. Put my gate down. Let's go see if we got enough fire in that battery to do any good. Nope, not enough fire. I might need to get my big battery charger out. I can do that. Alright then, let's shoot this thing up to the garage and we'll back it off in there, and then we'll go up and get that boat top I was telling you about and probably take it down there and put it off in the edge of the woods. And later on I might come along and build me some anchor points on the ground to put that top up with. That looks good. All the weight's on the back, but we ain't going but about 100 feet, maybe less. Oh joy.